What is up, good people? It's your girl, Nikki P. Welcome back to another episode of Soul Untamed, where we talk about creating a life that is designed by you and not for you. First of all, Happy New Year. It is January the 1st, and if you are listening to the sound of my voice, that means that you made it. Whatever 2025 was for you, you made it. You're here, and we're bringing in this new year together. So, Happy New Year to you. Wishing you the most prosperous, just blessed, happiness filled year of your life, and one that is aligned with you, one that is aligned with your most authentic self, living the life the way that you want to live it and not living a life of obligation because we think we have to accept it. So 2025, 2025, 2025 for me. I want to talk about a little bit of some lessons that I think that I learned in 2025. I believe that I started to understand a little bit more about what it means to live your future self in this current reality. And that was something that was hard for me to understand for a long time. There are different influencers, content creators that I listen to that say that all the time. And I was like, how do you live today like you have the thing when you don't have the thing? Like, what does it look like to, I think one of the ones that was throwing me off for the longest time was, how do you live as a woman loved and in a relationship when you are single? And I get it a little bit more now that you show up and you do the things that that person does. If you're trying to, if your goals are in fitness, you're trying to lose weight, you're trying to gain weight, you're trying, whatever your goals happen to be, and you are embodying the habits of the person that does that, that is what it means to live like that now. And so that's one of the things that I learned. Another thing that I really learned is how to stop putting so much pressure on myself. I am a busybody. Not sure where it came from because I don't think I always was like that. But at some point in adulthood, I became a busybody, which means that I am used to doing. I think that things have to come by the effort of your actions. What are you doing? And then I listen to, even still now, I listen to a lot of people that talk about the things that you have to do and listing these habits and all these things. And I would do them so much and I would get exhausted. I would get so exhausted from doing. That's actually what happened to me toward the end of last year. Wow, it's weird to say that because it was like yesterday, but that's what happened to me in 2025. Like, I was doing so much. You know, I had the rebrand launch of this channel, and I was working out and I'm trying to gain this muscle. So I was in the gym 5 days a week. And then I'm over here trying to build these digital products and just doing all this stuff. And then I hit a point in November where my spirit was just like, we tired. We tired. And it just kind of shut down on me and it threw me off. But it taught me that living as the version of you, or not even to make it deep like that, just living your life, it doesn't have to be all these moments of all this extra effort. Like learning how to listen to my body when it's telling me you need rest. You need rest. Why are you doing so much? Like, you can't, if you are tired, if you're tired physically, mentally, emotionally, any of that, sit down. Give yourself what you need. And toward in the last couple of months in the year, that's what I did for myself. I had days, I had a whole reset day where I literally spent the day, like, I slept without alarms going off. I got up when my body was like, okay, it's time to get up now. I drank, you know, my teas that are calming to me. I did my meditations that are calming and grounding for me. I had sense that that promote that calm and that peace. Like, I did all of those things and I allowed myself to just rest. And I was kind of in that space for a while, just tired, just even going to the gym. I took like a day or two off of going to the gym and just allowed my body to rest. And so that was another lesson of just learning that everything doesn't come by doing, and it's necessary. It is so necessary for you to get rest. And then this is not this is not the last thing and the only thing that I learned in 2025, but I'll end it with this, is learning that connection for me is what is the thing that I was missing the most. With all the doing and all the, thinking that I had to be in all these places, and even with my desire for finding a romantic relationship, calling that in, thinking that I had to go to all these places, and well, if you don't go out, you're not going to meet anybody, and forcing myself to just keep going places, but that wasn't aligned with who I was. So missing connection and all of that, realizing as I came down to the end of the year that the key thing for me was connection. And that's across the board, and particularly in anything that I do, it is always the connection for me that gives me energy. Paying more attention to the things that take energy away from me and the things that give energy to me. Like, I feel like I spent a lot of time this year really collecting data, and I've heard other people say things like that, before, like influencers, again, content creators, podcasters. I've heard people say that before. Is you have to try things and just see, and then when you feel a certain way, and whatever the outcome happens to be, none of it is wasted. You just collect data. So I feel like that's what I did throughout this whole year. Another thing that I did learn, I know I said that was the last thing, but another thing that I did learn was allowing myself to experience more things instead of just saying no, because what I realized that I do is there were just some things that I was just afraid to try. I would look at a possible event, a possible activity, or just something, and I would literally create a whole scenario in my head about how this event was going to go, and I could talk myself out of going or having the experience just because I had already assumed in my mind that it was going to have this certain outcome, and I would just sit it out. And what I learned to do more is to try it anyway. And if it turns out this is something that doesn't work for you, cool. You learn from it, and then you apply what is necessary and let go, discard what's not serving you, and then you get in there and you do it again. And so, yeah, I feel like I did learn a lot this past year, and going into 2026, I did my goal setting a little bit different this year, because the thing that I realized, I'm always setting goals. I always do year-end goals, doing by quarter, doing by month, doing by week. I always do that. But I think that I don't have good check-in points for how things are going. And I always realize that the way that I start the year, whatever goals, not all of them, but a lot of the goals that I start in the year, particularly for me in business, I start with one goal and I swear by the end of the year, it is completely different. The way that I started January in 2025 of how I was going to work in my business, what else I was going to do with my finances, how was I going to earn money. When I tell you by April, it was a completely different plan. It was a completely different plan. When I started out last year, I was talking about doing a course. I even literally paid for a room, had my friend come up to the room. I went, did the whole course, wrote the whole course out, did all the things, and get to the room, have her setting up her camera, and then I get in front of the camera because I'm not used to having somebody film me, and I couldn't do it. She kept stopping me because she's like, okay, look here, do this, do that, and it threw me completely off. And next thing you know, the whole course, when I say I literally created a whole course, done By the time June got here, wasn't even thinking about a course. So I do things like that. So I didn't want to come into 2026 doing things the same. I really didn't. So I did a whole different type of goal setting, intention setting, sessions and practices to prepare for 2026. I actually broke out like planning my goals in about 5 or 6 different sessions, just so I didn't feel the whole pressure of having all of that stuff done in one day. I have about 6 different categories that I typically plan in, and it just was too much to do in one day. So I broke it out. I had journaling practices this time with it, and leading with an overall theme of what I wanted 2026 to be. So you heard me talking about connection a little bit before. That is the overall theme of this year for me. Because when I was doing a review of 2025, and every time I mentioned like what was working, what I enjoyed the most, everything in every category that I enjoyed had to do with me involved with somebody else. So what came out of that was I am looking for connection. Connection and embodiment are the words that I chose to go into this year. And so for every goal that I set, I actually created a SMART goal, because when I was reviewing 2025, I realized a lot of the goals that I have are ongoing, that I don't have like check off here just to get to this point and this is done. Like most of my goals are kind of not abstract, but they're just ongoing. They don't have a finite end. For example, I'm learning Spanish. There is no the end. It is a lifetime journey of learning Spanish, of integrating Spanish speaking, and not just Spanish speaking, but Spanish culture into my daily living. So I didn't know how to really quantify that. And even with fitness, like, yes, I'm trying to get to like a certain body fat percentage, and yes, I'm trying to get to a certain like muscle, percentage, but fitness is a lifetime journey. And so I needed help with trying to turn all of that into SMART goals. And so working with ChatGPT, I was able to take the desired outcomes that I had and turn those into goals for every category that I had. So that is how I structured my 2026. The categories that I have are fitness, finance, business, Spanish, lifestyle and relationships. I'm leaving out one. I'm leaving out spirituality. Spirituality. These are the 6 categories that I tend to make goals and set goals in every year. So, yeah. And because I put so much attention into the journaling piece and really understanding how I want to show up every day, how I want to live my life every day, certain non-negotiables that I have as far as even my fashion, like how I show up just in life, how I dress, what type of jewelry I put on, how I wear my hair, the clothes, the colors, all of those things. That is part of what I journal and part of what helped me really solidify how I want, not just 2026, we're talking about 2026 because we're just in 2026, but this is a lifetime goal. When I tell y'all all the time about creating a life that is designed by you, this is me designing my life. This is me setting the terms, setting boundaries, and saying this is what I'll allow, this is what I won't allow. This is, yes, I want more of this. No, I don't want that. This is me being very intentional about what I'm calling into my life. Because the biggest fear that I have ever had is the rest of my life looking no different than it looks today. Meaning there's no growth, there are no changes, none of that. That is my worst fear. I want to thoroughly enjoy this life that I have been blessed with for the amount of time that I have to enjoy it. I don't want to spend it catering to other people's design for me. I don't want to spend it people pleasing, because I did that for so long. And I'm not saying this in a way to necessarily be selfish in the sense that I don't care about anybody else's feelings or whatever. But what I'm saying is that I am prioritizing me. I am prioritizing my self care. I am prioritizing my desires because I am worthy of getting the things that I want to have. And I'm saying that out loud because I want you to say that to yourself too. I want you to understand that you don't need permission to live the way that you want to live. It is a right. It is a divine right that you had the second that your beautiful particles all came together and created what we know as your human form. This is your birthright. So don't spend time trying to adhere to what other people say. Stand on what it is. Figure out what you want for yourself without influence from other people. What would you do if you didn't have to worry about what other people wanted you to do? What would you do if you had all the money in the world and could afford every single thing that you had on your list? What would you do? And that's what you need to start putting into practice every single day, because that is how you call it in. So that is kind of what's been on, how I'm coming into the year. I do monthly check-ins. I don't know if I actually do monthly check-ins. I think what I do is, I haven't been like reviewing the month. I would just come in, I would kind of do a quick review of like kind of look and see what goals still haven't been completed. And I would just kind of roll them over into the next month. And that's how I would start like creating each month's goals. But this year I actually have monthly check-ins, and I have a series of journal prompts and questions to help me really review the prior month and say, okay, what's working, what's not. If I'm not, is this something that's still important to me? Is this something I need to postpone? And I also am doing that for weekly check-ins. I already on Sunday do like a weekly spiritual practice. I can fold this into doing that practice and making sure that I'm asking the questions. What have I been doing? Do these actions align with what I said? Does this action align with the identity that I said that I am walking in? So that's what I'm doing in 2026. Doing different things, continuing to grow, continuing to call in the life that I desire, and to continue walking in it as if it is already here. So as I'm winding this video down, if you're still here listening to me ramble on, thank you, I appreciate you. I do have a couple of offers that I am working on. I have a journal that is a Rebrand Your Life journal that I will be putting on my platform, available to everybody. But because we are in a new year, and because I know that people that are like me like to plan, or it would benefit people to have a planner, I am taking that same Rebrand Your Life journal and I am putting together a planner with all of those same concepts in mind, with all of the same principles, the same journal prompts, all of that in mind. So that will be available by the middle of January. And I have had a couple of people respond well to me talking about discipline over motivation, because that's something else that happens this time of year. We tend to come out of last year ready for the new year, and usually we go hard for like a good 2 weeks, 21 days. We go hard in January. We're in the gym. We're doing the thing. We're in the business. We're content creating. We're putting our products out there. We're doing the things financially. And then usually by the time January gets to about MLK Day, somewhere around that middle point, we get exhausted because we've come in so hot, and you really can't actually consistently maintain that. I don't think that is feasible, and you wind up losing motivation, and then you fall off, and then you get to the end of the year, and then you wonder why you're not seeing the changes that you want to see. So I will be working on a discipline reset. Because the thing, you don't fail from lack of motivation. And I use the term fail loosely. I don't really like that word. It's more of you don't drop the ball, you don't fall, you don't lose momentum. Okay, I like that. You don't lose momentum because of lack of motivation. You lose it because of lack of discipline and lack of systems. Because you're not going to feel motivated all the time. You're not going to be in the same mood. For us women, you all know that we are cyclical. So we have times in a month where we're stronger than other times in a month. And when you have those weaker moments in the month, you're not going to feel like doing a whole lot of things. But if you have a system in place, the discipline will keep you going. That is how your momentum will stay going, not from motivation, but from discipline and from having systems. So I'm working on that to provide for you all. And then if you are a person who needs just a extra, like an accountability partner, just an extra voice, just pushing you, telling you you could do it. If you need that person in your ear, I can be that person for you. And I am, before the end of this month, I will be offering what I am calling power sessions, where you can schedule a one-on-one time with me and we can talk about some of the things that you are trying to accomplish. Preferably one goal. Let's not overwhelm ourselves, but one thing that you're trying to accomplish, and we can talk about a system, and I can help talk you through and help guide you into creating a system so that you can create that goal and not just create it, get clear on it, create it, and then stick with it. So I will be offering that by January 31st. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited to connect more with you guys. I just really want everybody to live their best life. That is genuinely what I want for you. I want 2026 to be the best year of your life so far. The best year of your life, because you absolutely deserve to have it be that way. So that's it. I've been talking for a long time, so I'm gonna stop talking now. I still have other things to do. I actually need to go and do journaling and all of that. So I just wanted to hop on here, say Happy New Year. Blessings to you all. I am so very grateful for you. And yeah, look out for those offers. I will be putting together videos and things to let you know when those are available to you. Until the next time, see you soon.